ladies and gentlemen, back at it once again as the hits just keep on coming here on Super Sunday. Great racing so far. The KA100 Juniors put on a show. Master Shifter, KA100 Senior, Micro Swift. 5 races still to go. KA100 Masters are going to be up next, guys. They're on the racetrack right now. And we'll have a look at the grid once it pops up, so we'll dial things in for you. This is going to be a really heck of a race, Mike. I think we know the guys that are going to be up front. We'll give you the full grid once it comes up on the screen. But otherwise, Ben Cooper's the guy to beat, but there's lots of guys with a lot of pace right now.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's Ben Cooper's race to lose. That's not quite sure. We've got Cooper starting on pole position. Kip Foster. Now, the drive for 5 continues. Billy Musgrave has been the only 5 member of the 5-time club for about an hour and a half. Will his reign last any longer than that?
That's so true, right? Kip Foster can get it done. He's been very, very strong throughout the entire week. Back on the DPE Aero chassis. Foster could be a guy to beat here. Nicky Coelho's been really consistent throughout the week. He'll start P3 alongside Bruno Spengler, who I think surprised us all a little bit coming over here and being so fast.
Yeah, indeed. Hey, throw yourself into the lion's den. But there's a huge grid of drivers that are in the tram lines already.
We'll jump in to give you more names once we get rolling. You can see that the names popping up, but the drivers are actually rolling and getting set to go right now into the staging lanes. We'll try to give you more drivers' names throughout the race. Field set, Cooper on the inside. Green, green, green. And we are underway, but from the outside, Kip Foster goes to P1. Great start from the outside line for Foster through 2, 3. Foster with a look over his shoulder says, hey, I got a chance to go full wide here. And not surprisingly that Ben Cooper would let that happen. Mike, there's no way Ben's going to push it. He knows he wants to pull away anyways.
Yeah, 20 laps, right? 20 laps in this thing. I'll tell you what was interesting is that was a little bit, we got a big moment there.
And that's
William
the 4-3-4.
Isaias, I
think it's
4-3-4.
and Coelho?
Yep. And other drivers stacking in. That was the 4th position.
That is Coelho.
2 of the other guys that we were talking about maybe having a shot at both Foster and Cooper. Again, those guys started in 4th and I want to say 6th, right? Yeah.
Guys, how fast can it end? How fast does the dream end?
It's karting giveth and karting taketh away. But very lucky driver there was Bruno Spengler, because Spengler was wheel to wheel with Coelho and just cleared Coelho before Isaias arrived on the scene.
So Kip Foster already with a little defense down to the inside. You wonder whether or not he thinks that Cooper's going to try to get away by. That was very close as they almost clipped each other coming across. Foster went to the inside and came back out a little bit. We'll see if Cooper decides to go right at him here. This will be interesting because we know that Foster had great pace in that final heat race. Continues to look over his shoulder. He's not at all comfortable that Ben Cooper's going to want to pull away with him.
No, exactly that. I want to say that if I'm Ben Cooper, I don't have any sense of urgency here at all. It sounds like, or it looks like, if you have this scenario where the driver in front of you is already defensive, already looking over the shoulder, and you know you got a good piece, you could take your time a little bit. You want to make sure if you do make the pass, it is a for sure move, not a half move that might result in contact. If it's further back, that's going to be a move. I want to say that's Waters moving on up.
Yeah, yes. Matthew Waters able to get by Bruno Spengler there at the end of the straightaway, so move Waters up into 3rd. Spengler goes back to P4. Martin Stone, winner of 2022, now running in the 5th spot. Jesse Gwynn having a good run, started 9th. The GFC driver out of NorCal up into 6th. Kyle Byers 7th. Laurent Mardan, again another driver who just came in, didn't practice on Wednesday, hit the track running on Thursday. He's currently 8th. Dennis Holler in 9th, and Renato Jadre David, Mike, up 7 to 10th.
That's what I was just going to point out. 2 drivers making moves early. You can add a few more just outside the top 10, but my buddy out there from Northwest, Kyle Byers, making things happen, up 5 to P7, and Renato Jadre David already up 7 to 10th.
I was going to say, we've seen 4-time SuperNationals champion, but we got to move for the race lead. Ben Cooper is your new race leader down at turn number 1. I was about to say that we've just seen 4-time SuperNationals champion Kip Foster look over his shoulder more times in 3 laps than Micro Swift winner Zane Burgess looked over his shoulder in 19 laps, and that says to me that Kip Foster is as comfortable up at the front. Cooper makes the move because Waters is now in 3rd place and pulling away from Spengler and Stone. Of course, flick your mind back to last year, Waters was the driver that denied Cooper after Cooper had been dominant up until Super Sunday.
I'll tell you, I was going to mention to see how Foster's car acts, because as he went into the corner, it didn't look like it carved through the corner quite as good there. Maybe a little bit too deep on the brakes to stay with Cooper, but he lost about 2 kart lengths in that corner alone, and that wasn't being passed. That was just following him through.
Check this out. Let's go 3 wide down into turn number 1.
Oh.
Why not? Is it going to happen or not? I think that was Renato Jader-David. Potentially, yeah. Jader able to work his way up a couple of spots. Hectic racing further back. Little contact there, deep. Everybody up on it. Dennis Haller's in there, of course, with the TP car. Oh, there's contact there. That's the 469 into the barriers outside of that corner.
Morgan LeBaron, game over.
Yeah,
sadly.
He really was on the outside. It wasn't his fault. Everybody was kind of rolling through. He was way to the outside of the corner, but they tried to put 3 or 4 karts into where maybe 2 were supposed to be.
Well, they went 3 wide through turn number 1. They thought, well, if it works through turn number 1, it's going to work through turn number 4. Oh, no, it doesn't.
Yeah, big shake up there.
But Dennis Holler, a really good performance from the driver on the TB kart there. Don't forget, he got a prize for racing in SuperNats last year for winning the TB kart rental World Championship. Fast forward 12 months, and he's here running inside the top 10 at SuperNats.
You can see the battle further back, big time. There's Laurent Mardin and Jesse Gwynn, all these drivers up on the wheel. Mardin digging his way forward as well. Some hectic action just outside the top 10. You've seen a lot of these drivers going at it. Ben Cooper out front cleanly by himself. We'll see whether or not Kip Foster's got anything for him. He actually went purple last time by. The gap only about 0.05 of a second, so they're really pretty close together up front. Cooper has not been able to pull away from Kip Foster. Kip, as we said, was kind of defensive, looking through everything in the early couple of laps, settling back in now. That's not what's happening back here, because right now it's very heated here. Dennis Haller's got a bunch of guys all over the back of him right now. Great racing further back in the pack.
Yeah, this is 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th on back. But they're dropping further and further away from these 2 drivers. Foster, I think, is more comfortable following than leading, just from what I'm seeing, because he's sticking to the rear bumper of the the Rollerson Performance Group number 431 of Ben Cooper. He's sticking to him like glue at the moment, has to be said.
Yeah, Renato Jader-David, a couple of movers. Let's have a look at the guys moving up. Here's a replay of the accident there. Yeah, the 405 got wide coming through there.
Jacob Nairi.
Yeah, and literally Morgan LeBaron said, okay, I see the craziness happening here. I'm going to go way wide around the outside to steer clear of it. And the contact came deep. Nairi moved over. Not moved over, got shoveled over after contact. Morgan LeBaron with nowhere to go. And, of course, at that point, Mike, you're along for the ride and clearing out the barriers.
Yeah, unfortunately, you think you got a good thing going. It's a lot of times going to the outside, though, is risky maneuver, because everything kind of clears out to the outside typically. And how about that? There's a move to the inside. I'll say this, too. If you're going to make a move, making it where you might be the, quote, weakest is usually a good idea. So the fact that it looked like Foster would lose a little bit of time in 4, if you take that away from your competitor by making that move, then it ends up evening back out. But that being said, eyes on the trailing RPGs of Waters and Stone, because they seem to be making some inroads.
I feel that move for Kip Foster is kind of a statement. It's like, listen, I led early, you went by, but you're not going to pull away. I'm going to lead a couple of laps here. I know you're going to make a move by me again later on, but I'm going to show you what I've got. I don't know if I've got enough to pull away. We'll see whether it happens or not. But, Cooper looking over his shoulder to see how much room he's got. These guys are going to battle it out for a while, but I think you're right. We got to watch the pace of Matthew Waters. Last time by about 1/10 of a second off that of Kip Foster. A little bit quicker, though, than Ben Cooper, but Ben gave a lot up in that pass. We're going to keep a look in the back. Every time we see this shot, if we get a little bit more RPG colors coming through there to see if they're going to close up. Waters should close up in that group. So, yeah, right there. Just a little bit in the back. We'll keep giving the splits, though, folks, to let you know how close he is.
And if Stone plays nice, and Stone and Waters can actually link up, and just behind them, look at this. Is that Spangler who's going to be staying right with him as well? So it's actually Waters with a little bit of an advantage over Stone, and then Spangler. If the 3 of them can link up somehow, that could be good.
Top 5, Henry, looks pretty good here right now with Foster, Cooper, Waters, Stone, and Spangler, however they finish in the end. Right now it's a 3-second gap back to Laurent Mardin and Renato Jader-David. Both drivers used to being on the podium. We'll see whether or not they can reel in Spangler.
Well, we're looking at last minute Larry on our screens now. A Romanian-born, Chicago-based Techno Kart USA distributor, and he is being chased by the driver, who's just set the fastest lap of the race so far, Renato Jader-David, and David now moves into P6. Mardan 7th. Behind them, John Quinn. Dennis Holler still hanging on to 9th in front of Kyle Byers.
It's been an up and down week so far for RJD.
Jesse Quinn, sorry.
Renato Jader David, who has again dug himself a bit of a hole, starting all the way back at 17th, but he has fought his way up to 6th. Sent the purple lap, as Henry had mentioned. So here we are coming to the halfway points right now, and Jader David, fastest driver on the racetrack. He won't back it up here with the pass, but the pace is there. He is now 6th, 3.3 behind Bruno Spengler, a long way away, and they both set exactly the same lap times. The gap that the Spengler has right now, likely insurmountable unless he starts falling off big time. More about the fight battling now as Cooper all over Kip Foster.
Yeah, but that number 420 is getting better and better. I'm wondering if some of the danciness I saw earlier might have been a little bit lower air pressure, setting up for the very long run. Remember, we are now into the second half of this thing, which we haven't seen before.
Henry, this is where you and I kind of stand back a little bit and let the driver analyst come in.
Yeah.
That Kart looks like, I think he's probably going to, boom, there's the pass he was going to think of. So yeah, obviously you're seeing something you like about the way that Kart is tracked through the corner, Mike?
Yeah, well, it was turn 4. Turn 4, it was a little dancy before, and the fact that he's not losing out of some of the corners, it just didn't look like it would carve through the center as well as the OTK behind him of Ben Cooper. There, you can see it. The exit of Cooper is good, but it's not insurmountable for him to stay out front. So now, again, through turn number 4, again, Cooper is good, but it was great. Like, he was losing a couple of kart lengths before as the leader. Now they look very, very even.
Should we shout out to everybody back in Australia?
I think we should
Kip
today.
Foster, obviously on the Drew Price Engineering machine, back on an Arrow, which he won 4 SuperNationals wins, which at one point put him in a very, as we said, exclusive company. Well, now it's kind of a second-tier program now that Billy Musgrave has won 5, but hey, Kip Foster could join him here this weekend.
But what better motivation? You know, you've been dining out of the fact that you've won, you're the equal all-time champion.
Yeah.
Suddenly you're not. I don't want to cast any dispersions, however, but these two drivers, the last 2 KA Masters Supernat champions, Matthew Waters and Martin Stone, both for the RPG group, but there we go, new leader, Ben Cooper.
That happened on lap number 13, Mike.
Oh, but I love the way the 420 leapt off the corner there. Foster's got a ride underneath him. It looks real good now, boys. I think that they went all in. Again, we saw the very first chink in the armor, if you will, with Cooper in heat number 3. Foster's been working on it now. Was Cooper just chilling, hanging out, kind of cooling those tires down a little bit and figuring out what he needed to do different?
It's so interesting to see the Aero chassis back here because it was a big part of American karting for a number of years through Kart Sport North America. A lot of people were on the Aero chassis for many years. Big part of the Rotax program,
Yes,
of course, in the early years as well. We had a lot of drivers running in Rotax competition here in the USA. So good to have it back here, as we said, with Kip Foster. What a debut it would be to come back again and get a race win, but lots of work to be done here. That's Spengler trying to think if he can go with the 413 of Matthews. I don't think Matthews was real happy with the fact that he got contact coming through there, as again, it's Waters in the 413, Martin Stone in the 441, and Spengler in the 427. Waters back to P3.
And that has allowed Cooper and Foster to pull out another couple of tenths, because the 2 RPG teammates, Stone and Waters, they were beginning to inch towards the top 2. And I was going to say that, you've got 3 RPG bullets and 1 person on an Arrow, and you just hope that Kip Foster wasn't the only archer in a gun battle.
That's exactly it. I like that reference for sure. They were closer. Last time by a 53.3 for Stone, it was a 53.8 for Foster. Foster goes back down to a 2. Cooper goes back down to a 2. They just lost another 7/10 of a second. Foster back into the lead as he again flexes the muscles to show, hey, I got enough pace to go. Cooper, Mike, with a big look over the shoulder, just to size up what he's got going. How much of an advantage do I have? Is this indeed a 2-man battle?
Yeah, and how much into the toolbox do I want to go here? I mean, you can see right there the simple fact of just opening the cart up, keeping things nice open. Make sure you have the exit speed coming off. And all you're doing there is you're getting a little bit wider than the driver in front of you so you can carry less speed, put less wheel into. There it is once again. This allows him to get later on the apex, open up the wheel more on the exit, and always have more on the exit of the corner.
So many layers to this battle right now, right? Obviously a 4-time race winner here with Kip Foster. Last time Ben Cooper won here, it was a senior category, so this guy can get it done for sure. That's why this battle is so good.
This is the 5th race. every single final on Super Sunday has been different. We've had an 8-kart battle. We have had a runaway winner. We have had the tactics of Micro Swift. We've had the chaos of KA100 seniors. Now we've got a one-on-one, mano-a-mano battle between two of the greats.
I've said this before, put 2 karts on a racetrack and make sure they battle each other. That's all I need to watch right now. Ben Cooper doesn't look over his shoulder. He wants to know how much he's losing by doing what they're doing right now. The gap 2.6 seconds back. He's tried a couple of moves. A little bit of contact there. The entry to turn number 3 is, again, Cooper just doing a little experimenting. Where am I better? Where can I move? Almost a move here, but not fully committed to it. Again, he'll keep looking over the shoulder to see what he's got, rather. The gap, I think, has shrunk down a bit, guys. 2 seconds now, only 2 seconds from Cooper back to Waters. As that battle, those guys turn 53-8s. Well, the guys behind were turning 53-2s.
Yeah, and the guys behind him, though, are going to make it a little bit easier on him for not losing time, with the exception of Waters, who's kind of gotten out in front. You see, here it is side by side down at turn number 7. That was a very, very nice over-under by Foster.
We're going to see more of this. Renato Jodar-David caught that pack.
Yep.
He's in 6th place. Remember, he was 2 seconds back almost. He is at the tail of the next group right now. Renato Jodar-David trying to put it on the podium.
Yeah, I was going to say, you've got 2 different fights here. We've got the fight for the win, which is on your screen right now between Foster and Cooper. The fight for the rest of the podium is what you're talking about, Rob, there further back. And I'll say this, watching Cooper, these moves, and actually, you're not going to rattle anybody, right? That part of the conversation's out.
Nope.
These 2 guys can't be rattled. All it is test and tune in where I can put the cart, how it's being affected, and both of them are putting on a show.
3 laps to go. 3 to go. Foster now leading. Cooper, who is the monster in qualifying and the monster in the heat races, going to work. Trying to figure out how to get by this cagey veteran, a 4-time Super Nationals race winner. They are locked and loaded. This is great racing right now.
Look
There's
at that.
the move to the inside. The double apex 7-8. And he's gone back to the lead. Cooper goes to P1.
Did Foster give him that thumbs up as they went down at turn number 4? I love that. That's brilliant.
I think we've seen moves in turn 1. We've seen moves in turn 4. We've seen moves here at turn 12. And now Cooper puts one in at turn number 8. There is not a corner on this track where these 2 drivers cannot race head to head. But the gap is beginning to shrink with 2 to go. Oh!
Here's the thing we're going to look at right now. Now they're racing. Here comes Waters, Stone, Spengler, Jodar-David if they keep racing hard. Oh, they're going to go side by side, almost touching through 3. They're side by side at turn number 4. Again, laps winding down. 2 to go this time by. Again, way wide on the exit, but Cooper knows he's going to have the inside line coming through. Foster tucks back in, guys. This is going to be good.
Look at him swing back to the outside. Even if you don't make a move, you're going to be able to carry more speed on the outside, carry all the way through. These guys, they only need a cart width. That's how awesome this stuff is right now. They're running defensive, they're making moves, and they're making it fit exactly where it needs to be. But things change when you add a third party to the game, and we're going to see it. Whoa, that's the biggest moment we've had so far. Now it's a 3-4 cart fight.
Here comes the cavalry as the white flag goes in the air. I love this sport. It's great.
That may have been it. We'll see whether or not they can reel him in. Foster tried to make a move to the inside of turn number 15 and got a bit of contact. He had to check up. This brings Waters, Stone, back into the fight. Waters is going to go down the bottom. Does he think of taking a move in Foster? He can't do it. Can we get an over-under as well from Martin Stone? We don't. Ben Cooper has been trying to get back to the top of the podium, and again, it did it in the X30 senior class a couple years ago. He's got enough breathing room to be able to run the race line. Foster tried to dig back in. He was so close to potentially getting race win number 5, the American debut for the new Aero. I don't think it's going to happen today. Through 13, Rollison Performance Group looking for the victory out of their driver coach, Ben Cooper, out of 15. Through turn 16, put another Super Nats on the mantle. Ben Cooper will win in KA100 Master. He salutes Kip Foster coming across the line, and this is why we love Masters racing so much. The sportsmanship, the camaraderie, a big win for Cooper. Foster second, Waters, Stone, Jodar-David goes to P5 plus 12. Renato Jodar-David to the top 5.
That might be the most star-studded top 5. Man, oh man, and absolutely one for the books. The type of racing we just saw there doesn't get any better than that.
I don't have it in front of me right now. I believe all 5 of those are now Super Nationals winners. Cooper, Foster, Waters, Stone, and Jodder David. I'm sure he's won as well.
Yep.
Everybody in the top 5 has been a winner here before. 2 times here for Ben Cooper. What a run. Great drive. RPG getting another race win.
And look at the way that they're all congratulating one another straight away. And that's like Ben Cooper. He's got, he's a dad now, and I'm sure that the boys at home are, enjoying watching Dad do what Dad does best, and that's win go-kart races. And there's the conversation. They look as though they were having far too much fun as we look at the Coastal Ink Printing recap. I lost count, Mike Smith, of how many times the lead swapped.
Well,
this
right
is
there's
not
2.
This is not. This is not a replay of a replay. That's 2. There's 3. 4.
The amount of back and forth, and again, the gamesmanship that was literally, this is how you go racing. This is what kart racing's all about. Driving hard, giving the space, rolling the outside. It doesn't matter what you want to try to look at how to do. These guys did it right here. They put on a class act show.
And then we were getting down to the business. And Cooper did defend there, but then he gave Foster room. That was so close. You couldn't fit a piece of paper between them. But then this was the move that Foster, that was one move too far going into turn number 15 for Kip Foster as Ben Cooper comes in. But look at Cooper as he crossed the line. He's taking the checkered flag, giving his rival a thumbs up. He's not even looking at the flag man. He's turned around and thinking, that was great, buddy. And Kip Foster agrees. And this does mean that Billy Musgrave remains the only member of the 5-time club. And there's Dodgers there as well. I didn't see Dodge all weekend. The mechanic there for RPG with the glasses on. There's Kip Foster. Well, we talked about an American-built chassis, the factory cars. The Aussies are back. That Arrow. Very, very potent indeed for Kip Foster. As more congratulations.
Matt Johnson coming through there, right there with the RPG shirt on.
Yeah,
another phenomenal Masters driver.
And a shout out as well to Laurent Jumardan Techno Kart in the top 6 as well. See that Marin Kramers is down there amongst it all. The congratulations continue, and that's the beautiful thing. A lot of these drivers, their wives, they've got wives, children here. We haven't got any female Masters drivers because otherwise you could say their husbands and their kids are here as well. But there's a lot of all these drivers. Some of them are professionals, like Ben Cooper. He works in the industry as a professional. He's got his own karting academy and what have you. There's Laurent Jumardan, last minute Larry, who was the latest entry on what was it? Thursday morning. But as we look at some of the celebrations, David Land is about ready to speak to the driver, celebrating more than ever, Ben Cooper.
Yeah, Ben Cooper adds to his SuperNats legacy, but I want you to tell the audience what you told Kip Foster when you got out of the kart.
That was one of the best races I had in my life. I think that my top 2 races in my life have been here at SuperNats. One was with him there in that race, and then probably a close equal at the top was 2013 DD2 with Baz Lammers and Paolo De Conto. But for me, I said it the other week, the previous event here a couple of weeks ago, but I say it again now. For me, that's how racing should be. We were running each other hard. We were squeezing each other within millimeters of the barrier, but always giving each other enough room. And he was so smart. He realized that I was probably a couple of teeth smaller than him, and he was just parking it on the apexes, and I couldn't get off the corner because of that, because I couldn't take my speed into the corner. And that psychological game, I absolutely loved it, and I think that's what made it one of the best races of my life, because it was just trying to outwit him. I saw my guys behind me, Matthew and Stone, and when I first went back with about maybe 7 or 8 laps to go, I thought I'm going to go and start defending and bring them back up. Maybe a bit of a team player as well. But when I look back, they'd started fighting themselves. Like, oh no, that's really down to me and Kip, But then luckily, in the last couple of laps when we restarted fighting, that those guys came back, and it meant that Kip had to close the door a little bit, and I just got that break in the last couple of laps. And yeah, that was awesome. Such a fun race. Quite often people don't watch Masters racing because it can get a bit boring. I know I didn't help that at some points this weekend, but for me that was, like I said, an amazing race and lots of fun. Up there in one of the best races of my life.
to not only have one of the best races of your life, but to win SuperNats. Talk about that.
Yeah, well, it should be named the World Championships of Street Racing, because it is that level of event. You know, everyone from all over the world, from Australia, from Europe, they all come here to race this event. It's an amazing event. There's hype around it that there isn't at other events, and I've been to most of those big events out there. You know, they're all up there, and this is up there with them. So yeah, for me, it's the World Championship of Street Racing, of car park racing. Yeah, it's great to add another one. Maybe I'll come back next year if Mike Rollison lets me and do senior. So that'll be the plan.
I think he should absolutely bring you back. Congratulations, Ben Cooper. Let's bring in Kip Foster if he's around here. Oh, there he is. All right, so this is a very difficult question to ask a man who's finished second. Yeah. But do you agree with Ben Cooper's assessment that that's one of the best races you've ever had?
Well, it's certainly it's pretty memorable. I mean, obviously, if you win it, it's going to be one of the best races. But I tell you, to beat a guy like Ben Cooper, you got to do everything right. And I made a couple of little errors in that race and cost myself a little bit of time. And just basically that second last lap, I thought I'll have a crack at it because I knew he'll run super tight in that last lap. Maybe I can surprise at that, you know, a little bit early, go for it, you know. And but to beat one of the best in the world and to try and, you know, take him on is going to be a huge ask. And so I'm just blessed to be second and very close to him, you know. So
you're one of the legends here at SuperNats, a 4-time winner. You brought one of the legends back, the Aero chassis. Talk about that a little bit.
Well, I just love the event. You know, I keep coming because I love the race, and I like the street circuit. I feel at home on a street circuit track that people get very minimal testing on. So that's what I love, and that's why it's one of the few places in the world that offer that nowadays. So, you know, I'll keep going while I can sort of be competitive and, you know, give him a bit of a run. I'll be here. I'll be here again.
I hope they both come back. That was an absolutely amazing race, gentlemen.
Yes, it was indeed. It's like I said, I love this sport, and you know, as a driver, Mike, you know, in this class, you know, what would you make of the two main?
Well, as a fellow Masters driver, I look up to both of those guys, and I've gotten a chance to go wheel to wheel with Cooper a little bit. Unfortunately, front bumper to rear bumper a little bit too much one time, but it's awesome just to see the display that you can and should race that hard, that well, that close, and it be clean. And it looks to me like we may be ready to go here down for our podium ceremony. So without further ado, let's hear it, Rob Howden.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're down here in Victory Lane. Drivers are all milling about here, kind of chatting with each other. We don't even have them over to the side of the paddock yet, or the podium yet. They're kind of chatting away, loving it, reminiscing about the event they just had, going back and forth. But that's Masters racing for you. All these drivers having a great time. You heard Ben Cooper say it was one of the best races of his life. Everybody, I'll say this. Here's how good this field is. Everybody that's going to stand on the podium is a SuperNationals winner already. That's how good this field is. Everybody you'll see has been on top of the podium in the SuperNationals. Let's get this thing underway. A great drive from deeper in the field, works his way onto the podium. P5 today, Renato Jader-David. Renato will work his way up now onto the podium. Great job for Renato there. Again, as I said, started deeper in the field. He actually had to reel in that next group to be able to battle for it. Was able to get by Bruno Spengler late in the race. And again, Renato, as I've said, a former winner already here at the SuperNationals. Finishing in the 4th spot, the winner of 2022, that is Martin Stone for RPG. Coming home as the P4 driver, of course, Renato Jader-David for Orsolon Racing, coming home in P5. Moving now to the driver finishing in the 3rd spot. He was the winner last year, defending race winner. He ends up finishing in 3rd here today. Matthew Waters coming home, P3. A great run and made it exciting at the end as both he and Martin Stone worked together to be able to close up on that lead duo. Almost made it even more exciting in the last couple of laps, but nonetheless, Matthew Waters coming home, as we said, in the 3rd position. 2nd place, so close, already a 4-time winner, deserving of the win, but came up just short in what was one of the best mano-a-mano side-by-side battles we've seen in SuperNationals history. Please, folks, a round of applause. The driver coming home in 2nd today, Kip Foster. Great drive for Kip today to be able to get, again, up to P2, led back and forth. He and the eventual winner, Ben Cooper, kept fighting back and forth. Just tried it on the last lap, or the penultimate lap. He knew he had to do something to see if he was going to be able to get by, expecting that Ben would low line the entire race. Again, as I said, they've all been race winners before. Last time this guy won a race here at the SuperNats, it was in the senior category. He's done it here in Masters as well. Ladies and gentlemen, what a drive. The winner today for RPG, Ben Cooper! Cooper getting the victory after a tremendous battle, as we said, with Kip Foster, Matthew Waters, and he and Martin Stone actually worked very good together. They were locked and loaded. I don't think they would have closed as they did had they not worked as well together as they did to work their way forward. But nonetheless, it all comes down to those two drivers who were battling out front. It was Kip Foster taking the lead from the early get-go. He and Ben Cooper then swapped the lead back and forth on numerous occasions. There you go. Trophies up in the air, the cannons are going off, and this is your podium for the KA100 Masters category. Ben Cooper notches race win number 2 at the SuperNationals. Kip Foster second, Matthew Waters in third, Martin Stone in fourth, and Renato Jatter David rounds out the top 5. And indeed, third win, actually, for Ben Cooper, because you got to go back to the Rotax days as well, right? DD2. David Cole, of course, giving me the information there. Third time's a winner for Ben Cooper. That starts setting him up to think about a 4th and a 5th, right? He's there already, potentially going higher. They'll go to work on him right now, folks. The Masters drivers enjoying it, because that's real champagne. That's not apple cider, folks. That's the real stuff. Congratulations, Ben Cooper. Well done, as he is your champion of KA100 Masters for SuperNationals 27.